I have about 36 seconds of video open here of an Australian possum who seems to have come down the tree to clean up the bread that was put out for the ducks and the birds earlier in the day. So we managed to grab a bit of video of the animal, but we had to hold a torch, and the trick is holding things steady, as you know, and also the camera. But didn't have time to put the camera on a tripod, and it was very low down anyway. So I had to hold the camera extremely still, but when we start and stop the video, we generally get some movement. Well, one other way we can trim that off is to press play. I've got the sound muted. There you'll see the movement of the camera, but about there it steadies down. So from there it would be quite useful perhaps if I could lose that front part. Well, what I can do is either just drag this to the red line, but I could just click the little scissors symbol. And you can see what it does. It breaks my video into two parts. So I could select the first part and hit delete. And it's a little bit more convenient, I think, sometimes if we're just trimming off small amounts. So let me step my cursor back to the beginning and press play. And now we can see we've got a little bit more of a steady piece of video. Now there was a little flash there. The animal looks away and he leaves the screen. So I've hit the space bar because I've changed my mind, because that first part is a little bit spoiled. So I'm going to hit the scissors again, and I don't want that part, so I'm going to delete that. Do the same again, and you can see now we're down to just over 20 seconds. We've got an interesting piece of video there. We can see the animal clearly, nicely in the frame. I think the movement of the camera is pretty good. Not sure what that little flash was back then. I'm not sure if it's something to do with my recording here, but it certainly seems to be a problem. So let's go back to that. Not sure what that is, but I'm going to take it away. So I'm going to move my cursor back, and I'm going to hit the little pair of scissors again. Then I'm going to press play from that point. Well, that's strange, it's not showing now. Let's try that again from there. Well, it must be something to do with what I'm doing here, recording and playing the video at the same time. But this would be a good point to say, well, supposing we wanted to take a section of this away, but use the end part. Well, then we could just stop the video wherever we felt it was appropriate and hit the scissors again. Now we could take a piece out of the center. Let's go back to the start and see what we have. We've got just over 15 seconds. Let's press play and make sure that we would be happy with the video that we're about to render. Animal looks good up to that point. Slight movement in the camera, but I think it's acceptable. A little bit of a change there, a little bit of a jump because we've taken something out of the middle, and I think that little flash on screen is something to do with the technicalities of me recording a video while playing a video. But we do have an obvious problem here. If I put my cursor back to this point and we just press play, we've got that jump between the two cut pieces of video. What we can do under those circumstances is to go to this option here. Here we have a number of options: fade with black, fade with white, fade with color, and fade. I think most of those I would probably want to do in Pictures 2Xe if I was creating video for that. But the crossfade may be useful because I can drag that down and sit that across that position there. And I think I can drag it out as well, so I can make the crossfade longer or shorter. Let me put my cursor at that point and press play. So now we get a little bit more of an acceptable change from one small clip to another, which we could now safely render, of course. We do need to bear in mind, of course, that we now have two videos, and we can see that in the form of two layers over here on the right hand side. So if we was thinking of using the tools of Photoshop to mute the video, we need to mute both parts. So if I right click and go to the little symbol, I can drop the volume down. But if I go to the other little clip and right click, I've got to remember to drop the volume there too. Otherwise, when we fade between one and the other, the sound is going to come up. What I'm going to do here is to add an adjustment layer. And I'm going to choose black and white. And just for speed, I'm going to go to the green filter and just select that. So if I put my cursor here and press play, we can see we have our animal in black and white, and it looks pretty good. But if I move it back to the previous little clip, of course, it's going to be in colour, which we may want, and then the fade would take it into black and white. But if we want the same effect on this layer, select it, then all you need to do is hold the Alt key and you can drag your adjustment layer down over the other layer. Now you have the monochrome on both layers. So let's take a look at the possum full screen, where we've taken a clip out of the middle and merged that with that lovely dissolve or crossfade, and we have our monochrome possum running for about 15 seconds.